Yes! scene. Class first class. The mastermind of this operation is Jason Levine. Class first class. With the help of his scruffy buddy, 85 to the RGT. Class first class. Buddy, 85.
Welcome, all you beautiful people, to the Class vs. Crass Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Hey Jay. Joining me as usual, the Crassy one, RGT 85. Shit, I missed the opportunity. I should have said the Carless one, RGT 85. I'm your host, Hey Jay. Joining me as usual, the Crassy one, RGT 85. Shit, I missed the opportunity. And joining us, we have a special guest. We got Rax the Great. Thanks for joining. You might have to remove the great, though, since you're a raisin lover and your cookies. And joining us, we have a special guest. We got Rax the Great. No way. Sean, you like raisins in your cookies? Thanks for joining. You might have to remove the great, though, since you're a raisin lover and your cookies. And joining us, we have a special guest. We got Rax the Great. No way. Sean, you like raisins in your cookies? Thanks for joining. You might have to remove the great. Biggest problem. And joining us, we have a special guest. We got Rax. Oh shit, forgot the echo. All right, yeah, I forgot I left the video playing. Man, what is going on? What is going on? Why isn't your audio coming through here? Shit, this is why we should have done some tests. Why is this doing this right now?
Can't hear Sean.
Gotcha. Fixed ya.
Can you hear me now?
They can hear you, but now I can't hear you. Hang on. How about now? Man, this thing is messed up. They can hear you. No, they can't. Your audio is still off. What the hell? Where's your audio at? Why doesn't this work anymore? Yes, my setup is more difficult than it needs to be. I use Streamlabs OBS. Yeah, it's my speaker thing that's messed up because I was starting to use the audio from my new monitor and not you guys. But this is weird. Last week it worked fine, and this week you can't hear me?
No, that's what the chat is saying.
Oh, okay. You're back. No, you were back. Talk again?
Hello.
Oh my god, we got it. We got it.
Are you sure?
Oh my god, yes. I can see the levels. Oh god, this thing's a pain in the ass. Yeah, so I have different audio outputs. I have my speaker for when I don't want to have a headset, and then my headset is connected to my monitor. So these create all these different audio outputs. But we are good now. We are good. Let's try that again. Welcome everyone to the Class vs. Crass Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Hey Jay. Joining me as usual, the carless one, RGT85.
I'm not carless anymore. My car is now fixed. We've already done this joke. Go to hell.
And joining us for the first time tonight, we got Rax, the great raisin lover.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Raisins are the best thing. They're nature's fruit. Get over it. You lose.
All right. I mean, I would have fought you more if I didn't have an embarrassing situation with my sound right now.
Okay.
Very good background though. I like your bricks.
Thank you. I painted them myself.
Just to close off the raisin conversation, because you mentioned in Discord raisins in your carrot cake, and the cookie is one thing, but in a cake, I've never had that, and that just sounds like a cake is already moist.
Do you not like carrot cake?
Sorry?
Do you not like carrot cake?
I like carrot cake, and
you've never had carrot cake with raisins in it?
Nope, have not.
Do they? What?
I mean,
how do they make carrot cake over there?
With carrots and cake. No raisins.
So like you got like sliced carrots in your carrot cake? Because that sounds awful.
Like it's not like a chunk. I don't. Like, it's like shredded carrots in there. Like it's mixed in, so you don't actually taste the texture or the flavor. In fact,
I've never once had carrot cake with like actual shredded carrots in it. That sounds strange.
It's
just carrot. I don't know, man.
Maybe it's fruit. Anyways, there's no raisin. Have you had raisins in your carrot cake, Sean?
I don't eat carrot cake. I like Raisin Bran Crunch.
Yes.
What is that?
It's like Raisin Bran, except there's crunchy granola in there. They probably don't have it in that third world country up there.
Yeah, let's not talk about countries. My country's doing pretty great these days.
Really? How's your dollar? Exactly. Shut up.
I'm fine. I'm living a comfortable
Cream. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all.
All right. Politics aside. It is a 1 hour podcast where we talk about all things gaming. So we usually go over what we've been playing this past week. We're going to talk a little about Rax, who he is, where he's from. It'll be a whole 1 minute on Rax, a whole 1 minute expose on Rax. Mostly to plug your channel and stuff. Then our topics for tonight. What do we got on the agenda? We're going to be talking about some new loot box legislation. Fun stuff. Microsoft patenting a new Microsoft patent that looks like they're coming out with a controller potentially to compete with the Switch. Gamescom 2019, there's a bunch of new games, about 15 that are said to be announced at the Jeff Keighley show. I don't know if you guys want to talk about the Shenmue 3 pre-orders. It's not something I'm interested in, but I know Sean's a big Shenmue fan.
I like Shenmue.
Pre-orders, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
The pre-order bonuses? You guys don't know
I don't
about
know.
them?
Lay it on me. What's the pre-order bonuses?
All right, so you got the basic one, which is the...
Oh, it just happened a day ago. I wonder
Okay.
how I missed it.
If you would have watched HJ News, it was covered there. So
You put it
got...
up like a couple hours ago.
That's
I'm sorry,
fair.
I've been busy.
That's fair. I was delayed this week. That's fair. So you've got a pre-order bonus across the board. You can get this blazing kick. You know what? Let me put the image up so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's actually...
So you get the blazing kick advanced technique scroll, which unlocks the ability of the advanced technique, whatever that is.
Oh, wait. These are just in-game bonuses?
Hang on. There's exclusives too for retailers, which we'll get to in a minute. So you get 3 snake power bottles, which looks like it's like a healing thing. 5,000 play tokens for the gambling area. 25 tickets for capsule toys. So that's the digital pre-order bonus. All right. We get a big yawn. Sound good?
I mean, I thought they were actual physical things, and like they were gonna give me like an actual bottle of snake power and actual tokens.
But that's what he's getting to, man. There's like physical things. All right, so Best Buy has a steelbook, which looks absolutely fantastic.
Oh, here we go.
You can't go wrong with the
then
steelbooks.
GameStop looks like, I don't know if they're actually, if that's a physical thing.
Yeah,
It is.
that's
the
medallion.
dragon
The medallion, dude.
Oh no, that's what you gotta get. Like, who gives a shit about the DLC from Amazon? Like, a steelbook is cool, but the actual Phoenix mirror medallion, like, that's legit.
What is this thing Amazon is giving? Is that like a DLC?
That's in
costume?
game. That's in
Yeah.
game. You get a little kung fu outfit.
Ooh. Whoa.
Yeah, so those are the 3 pre-order bonuses. And then there's the limited run, but I think it's all sold out. The 5,000 collector's edition from Limited Run.
I just
Yeah, I just didn't. The dragon, the mirror is the best thing by far.
So
Like,
the
that's
the GameStop exclusive then.
Yeah, but they got the patches for his jacket.
That's the collector's edition though. You can't even get that anymore.
That sucks, man.
But I mean, the mirror is so important to the game.
Yeah, it really is.
Is it? What's the mirror have to do with it?
What?
I've never played Shenmue.
Okay.
Go buy it. It's like $20.
Everyone tells me how boring it is and it aged really poorly.
Whoa.
They were wrong. It hasn't aged poorly.
Okay, I don't trust any of your recommendations anymore because every game you've recommended me sucked.
Sorry, I have taste.
Well, I mean, have you ever played anything like Skyrim or anything like that?
I do have
You-
Skyrim. Couldn't get into it though.
Okay, then maybe he might not like it, Sean.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Rex.
Like
Did you
Skyrim,
like
there's
Knights?
More action than that.
Knights is god tier, and we're going to be talking about Knights later
Yeah,
anyway.
Knights was. Listen,
whether you
when Knights
realize
came out back then, like it was crazy. Like you didn't like that was one. All right, so what Knights was to the Sega Saturn, what Crash Bandicoot was to the PlayStation to me back then.
Oh
Like,
it was that's how I mean that's how it was. It was you had Super Mario 64, you had Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation, and you had Knights on the Saturn. Like Knights was a fucking big deal.
Crash Bandicoot also sucks though, so that
No, it doesn't.
oh come on, you always agreed with me that Crash Bandicoot did not age well.
I thought the remastered trilogy was fun. I never played. I never said Crash Bandicoot didn't age well because I never really played Crash Bandicoot back in the day. I was a fan of the Crash trilogy that came out. I didn't like Crash Team Racing, and I got crucified over that. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, you did.
That was my Pat the NES Punk Diablo moment. But at least I was, I could say, hey, sorry. But yeah, like Knights was a big deal back in the day, dude. Like covers of magazines and shit.
Well, I remember seeing it everywhere. It even made its way into my Sonic comics back then. I used to collect the Sonic comics, and they had like Knights coming in. I was like, "What's this side story? I don't want to read about Knights." I don't know if my expectation was wrong. The gameplay was really weird when I played on Steam like a year or two ago, and it just.
I mean, sure, if you jump into it now, like it's going to be completely different than what the experience was like back then.
So what was the big highlight back then? Like, what was the wow factor?
Well, 3D gaming was pretty new, so just seeing that vivid world that seemed like a dreamland, because that's literally what it was all about. It was like being able to float around in this dreamland. You were this unique character, like jester type thing, and there was just a lot like to it back then. It seems like a silly concept now, but when you're sitting there, comparing it to things like, did you ever play Pandemonium back in the day? Pandemonium 1 or 2?
Did not play Pandemonium.
Okay.
Our game tastes don't overlap much.
Dude, I've just played a lot of stuff. I don't know, man. It was unique. It was just a different thing.
And Albert made a good point. You're playing it on the PC, not with the 3D controller.
Yeah.
But I play all PC games though with an Xbox controller.
Yeah, but I mean, you're taking a 20-plus-year-old game and expecting it to be, a modern thing. Like, and you have no attachment to it. You have no previous indication of what it is. But
yeah, that's the thing. I'm coming at it as a newcomer at that time, 2017, 2018, and I'm saying the series. If you have no prior emotional attachment to it, it just you're like, what is this? This is just left field.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope. But Castlevania, though, is a game that you can come in as a newcomer in 2019 and completely fall in love with. I've had the Castlevania Kool-Aid, and I've now converted. 7 games in, I'm turning into a hardcore Castlevania fan.
Wait till you get to the 3D entries, then talk.
I started Rondo of Blood. Oh, the 3D entries on the N64?
The 3D entries.
Yeah, so
any 3D Castlevania. I hate them all, honestly.
Even the Lords of Shadow series?
Hate them all.
Oh. Rax, are they good?
Well, I mean, that's based on taste. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to the 3D games, the gameplay itself can be kind of strange. The best... all right, so out of all of the 3D games, I think the best one was the one that followed Hector's story, which was Curse of Darkness, I believe. Because, Lament of Innocence was Leon's story. So the one where you're actually playing as Hector, I feel is the easiest to get immersed in for a 3D Castlevania.
What's are you still using the main mechanic in the 3D Castlevania games? Is the gameplay just the 2D converted to 3D, or did they change it up quite a bit?
No, it's a little bit different. So it depends on which one you're playing. So in Curse of Darkness, you kind of have a bunch of different things going on. With Lament of Innocence, that game is very tough. I think the controls for Lament of Innocence is a lot harder to deal with than the 64 games at times. But everything in terms of world and aesthetic for the PS2 Xbox era. Sorry, I've been drinking. The aesthetic for those games is a lot better than what you get in the 64 games. I feel like the 64 games are pretty muddy, don't really follow too much in terms of actual aesthetic lore. Like, it doesn't fit in well with going from the 2D games with all It's very vivid 2D styled sprites, and it's a lot more detailed in those worlds than when you get to 64. It's all like flat and everything's one solid color. It just seems like very bland and boring.
Yeah, like most N64 games. A lot of them haven't aged well.
That's really where it lacks its flair, I guess. Because I mean, the 64 games, in terms of story, the stories are interesting. It's just the gameplay and the worlds themselves are just lacking.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting into them. My next ones right now are, I just finished the Anniversary Collection, and this is actually a good segue into what we've been playing. So the Anniversary Collection is done minus Kid Dracula. Maybe I'll play it someday, maybe I won't. So now I'm doing the Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night Collection, which I got on the PS4. And Rondo of Blood is setting itself up to be my favorite now.
Rondo of Blood is really, really good. It's probably my favorite out of all of them for sure.
Yeah. And it's interesting because that's the one Sean always said was his favorite, if I recall. And that's the one you recommended me playing. And when I didn't know anything about Castlevania, I tried it and I hated it because I had no reference for anything else Castlevania. But now that I've gone through from the beginning and worked my way up to Rondo of Blood, like when you have that to compare it against, way different experience. It's a blast right now.
Did you skip Dracula X?
No, I'm probably going to come back to that.
I mean, it's similar. It's very similar to Rondo, but there's different levels. Some levels are removed. Some things are different, but Rondo's better. But I actually think Dracula X is severely underrated, and I think if it wasn't as expensive as it is, people would like it more. But it's freaking expensive as hell.
It's basically the same story as Rondo, right? From what I read, it's just all the levels have been redesigned and stuff.
I mean, it was a somewhat dumbed down version of Rondo with different things. It was a very weird. It's a very weird situation.
Think of Dracula X as being Rondo of Blood without its cutscenes and just a little less. It's got that SNES flair without the. All right, so for example, the first level of Rondo of Blood, you got the fire in the back going on, right? All right, so in Dracula X, you still have that same thing going on, but it looks a little bit different. It doesn't look as good as the Rondo. It's almost like comparing, different graphics between different consoles, like comparing like a Switch port of Doom to the Xbox One X version of Doom. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost kind of like that.
Yeah, and back then there wasn't so much like console parity. Everything was a lot more different from the SNES to say the Genesis and whatever else you had. So yeah, that's mostly what I've been playing. Finished up Lego Marvel Avengers, the Lego game. The first one, 100%, got my platinum. Moving on to the second one now, Lego Marvel Avengers 2, which is really interesting. It looks at the time. I don't know if you guys are much into Marvel, but it looks at the time traveling villain, which a lot of people are saying he's going to be the new villain in the next arc of Marvel cinematic films. Are you guys into Marvel or no?
No.
Here and there.
Okay.
I used to be really big into it.
I'm just like getting into it. I wasn't before. It's really the cinematic universe that got me into it.
It's getting a lot of people into it.
Yeah. So what have you guys been playing?
Greatest game that comes out in 2 days that everyone in this chat that owns a Nintendo Switch better be buying so that I can destroy you and kill you and take away your soul and take away your innocence and strike fear and terror into you every time I am Jason Voorhees, and that is Friday the 13th on the Nintendo Switch.
Did it get better? You were complaining about it last time.
I was never complaining about it. The game is not a good game. Like it's not a game that looks great, but the gameplay is fantastic. The gameplay is second to none. There's no other game like it. Dead by Daylight is fine, but it doesn't have the same charm. I don't feel like I'm still gonna play Dead by Daylight, but it doesn't have the same charm. You don't have that same teammate mechanic. The only problem right now is there's like nobody fucking playing the game because they only sent out so many review copies of it. But I mean, I'm addicted to it once again. It's probably my most played PS4 online game, and it's gonna be up there for my highest played Switch game. I can already feel it. Like and the best part is all these people playing it on Tuesday or when it comes out, they probably didn't play it on the PS4 because there's probably not going to be many people that double dip. So there's just going to be so many people just like running around having no idea what to do, and I'm just going to pick them off left and right, and it's going to be so satisfying. And I'm probably going to stream it because that's how much fun I'm going to have. Besides that, I played some DC Universe Online. Not bad, not great, but it's okay. It's not a great game, but it's fantastic. Exactly. It's just something you have to experience, I feel. DC Universe, it's free. I don't play MMORPGs, so a lot of the stuff gets sort of lost on me. The combat feels hollow compared to Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and all that stuff. Other than that, been playing with my Pro controller. I got a video coming out this week on it.
Is it your review?
Yes, I've been playing with this. The ultimate answer to the new Nintendo Switch. Cost me $25. I didn't have to buy a $300 system.
Wait,
I get 10 hours battery life now.
Is that like a battery pack?
It's a battery pack that clips into the Switch. It has 2 kickstands as well. It has yep. So if you want to prop your stuff up. What's funny is I should have fucking done an affiliate link, and I should have hit up the company because they're sold out on Amazon now. After I made my video talking about it, and the top comment is RGT85 recommended this. And I'm like, fuck, man, I should have gotten a It's got a USB slot, so you can like charge your phone as well. You charge it up, and it gives you, between the Nintendo Switch itself and this, you can get nearly 10 hours of battery life in portable mode, and it's $25. It attaches right to the Switch. If I had my Switch near us over there, but it cases right in. It is kind of heavy, so it does add weight to it. But like, I've been playing Friday the 13th in bed. Has a slot for the headset as well, so it ventilates and shit. Like, it's fucking fantastic. Somebody on the Spawncast actually wanted me to review it, and I looked it up on Amazon like a couple weeks ago. I looked it up on Amazon. I was like, fuck, it's $25. I mean, that's nothing. I can check it out for that. And then when the look it up. It's called the Venom Power Pack on Amazon. And it's sold out, and they don't know when they're getting more in stock. And I'm like, oops, sorry.
That's a good product. I'm surprised that nothing like that came out sooner.
I mean, there are some, but the thing is, they're like, $40 or more expensive like that. And when I saw $25 shipped, I was like, well, that's cheap. I mean, if it does what I want it to do, like, then this is perfect for me. And sure enough, it did. Yeah. So I absolutely love it. Fantastic. I should have bought one a long time ago.
I'm curious about your thoughts of the Pro Controller, since you've been hounded for so many years to get one.
They got to wait for the video on that, my boy.
Oh, come on. There's only 40 of us here. I think you can spare these 40 viewers. You're going to get 40. Like 50,000 on your video. You'll be fine.
All of your viewers. No, I mean, there's definitely things I like about it. There's a few things, that sort of hold it back a little bit, just a smidge. But I mean, it's a great, everyone's already said. My review of it, I'm going to incorporate comedy into it as well, because it's been such a fucking long running joke. Yeah. So like, new people will probably hate the video or whatever and be like, this is stupid. I'm never watching this guy again. But I mean, yeah, it's a Pro controller. Oh, and I got one other thing, but I can't talk about it. But I mean, if it just randomly flew across the screen, I guess maybe.
Oh my God.
Hold on.
So keep your eyes on the screen, Rax. Who knows what's going to fly by.
I actually haven't even messed around with it yet, just because I've been so excited for it.
Oh, but, I know what it's going to be.
If it just randomly floated across the screen or something, I'm not talking about it or anything. I'm not quite sure what it is, but yeah.
Jeez, damn.
This week I can talk about it. I think Wednesday, so I gotta actually work on that.
Looking forward to it, but I think your smile gives it away.
I mean,
I don't
know. But on the Pro controller, are you going back to the dog ear after this? To the dog controller?
No, not 18 games. I mean, I go back and forth. Like, really? There's a certain comfort with the dog controller just because I've been using it for so long. It's kind of weird to, switch to something more standard, even though, I have like an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
So, it's just, there's a certain feel to it. It's like when you're playing a game in handheld mode, it feels different than when you're playing it in docked mode because of the things. Oh, and I also played Fortnite today for the first time in forever.
Going to the Wild West.
No, Wood was like, oh, they added mechs into the game, and I was like, okay. He was like, let's play. So I did an update, and then it took like 30 minutes to do the freaking update, and then we finally got into it, and we did 2 matches, and I was like, yep, I'm done. See ya.
Yeah, I don't touch that game anymore.
Like, I'm just so over battle royale stuff, and it's like, you know, you have a superior game with Friday the 13th right here. Why do I have to waste my time with this?
Do you think that's going to catch on the Switch, or do you think it's going to kind of like spike in the first week and then the community is going to be almost non-existent?
Look, if I could get 100 people to play the game consistently, I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's all I give a shit about. But I think it could catch on just because of the fact that there's not many online specific Switch games, and they did an actual good job with the online code in this game. You know, as someone who played the PS4 version a shit ton, that was the biggest problem with the game when it first came out. There were so many issues with the net code, but like I ran into hardly any issues with the net code. You know, there are some glitches, of course, from time to time. The developer, we actually played a game with the developer, and so we were able to, with one of the developers, he's actually the lead guy on the Friday the 13th social media stuff as well. Or one of them, but he's like the lead developer for the game, and so we were able to tell him, we're like, hey, we ran into this problem, this happened, and he's like, great, we're doing a patch for it, you know, that's in the patch, that's not in the patch, but you know, we'll look into it, you know, let us know why it happened, etc. So I mean, you know, we have pretty much a direct line of communication with this guy. But yeah, like Wood was like, I don't want to play this game. And I was like, I'm telling you, you do want to play this game. He's like, I don't want to play this game. And now every night he's like, is anybody on? Is anybody on? Is anybody on? Can you look, see if anybody's on? I want to play. And I'm like, I told you, it's addictive as shit.
How's the PS4 community these days? Because it's been like 2 years, right, since it's been out?
I mean, it's obviously a lot smaller than it has been.
But it's still active.
Yeah, it's still somewhat active.
Oh, cool. And Rax, what have you been playing over there?
Honestly, I'm a little bit behind on things, so I've really still been playing Doom 1, 2, and 3 on the Switch. Other than that, I've really just kind of been waiting for Astral Chain. And in between that stuff, when I'm not busy, I've actually been going back and playing PS2 stuff.
Are you going like original, or are you emulating, or like going through the PS4?
I've got all the extra consoles, so I literally have like a huge library of games, man. So really, I've just been kind of going back and trying to dabble in things that I never really quite finished or had the chance to even really start. I've just been itching to play some old school stuff, man.
Yeah, like any series that you're touching up on right now that, or any hidden gems or surprises that you're like, oh, how did I miss this?
Hidden gems, no. I'll be totally honest with you, dude. I like to get a good laugh out of playing really bad games. So when I'm at work, which if you guys didn't know, you know, I run a game store, so I'll see the most ridiculous things come through sometimes, and I'm like, dude, I've never even heard of this. Like, what is this crap? And I'll pick it up, or either I'll borrow it, or whatever it is. If it looks good enough to like own, I'll buy it. A lot of the stuff in my store is like super cheap. So recently, this is gonna make you laugh. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like VeggieTales back in the day.
Yes,
Of course.
So I saw this game come through, and it's Larry Boy and the Bad Apple. So I was like, this has got to be dog crap. Like, this has got to be the worst game that ever existed. And you know what the worst part about it is I popped it in, and I'm actually enjoying it. So I've actually legitimately been playing this game, and it's super funny.
What kind of game is it?
It's just a platformer. It's kind of it's not as open as like a Jack and Daxter. I mean, yeah, I said that right, dude. I'm
Jax.
Yeah. Somebody one time filled out an application. We asked them what their favorite game was, and they said Crash and Dexter. And ever since then, I've been messing that up because I make a joke about it. So, but yeah, it's like a 3D platformer. You do random stuff. You're in like all these food-based levels. So like right now, I'm in some kind of like chocolate factory, looking for, I don't remember, but that game is ridiculous. It's really stupid, but Yeah, I just try to find like the worst things I can possibly find. I should probably start making videos on all like the garbage I go through.
You should. I mean, it's one of the biggest libraries out there. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that has never been properly covered.
Yeah.
You should make your own like little journey series of trying to find the trashiest of the PS2.
Yeah.
I was looking back on my, like, the PS2 used to be my biggest collection before the Wii U. But I don't think I have anything trash back there that you would enjoy. Probably the worst thing I had was Dark Cloud, but even Dark Cloud I think was considered a really good game.
Yes.
And I enjoyed it too. I just, I think I played it too late. I played it after the PS2 had passed, and I don't know, it didn't age so good.
Do you think everything ages bad?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, like, between the three of you guys, I'm clearly the least retro enthused. I play a lot more modern stuff.
It's all good.
Yeah, like even playing through the Castlevania stuff, like the NES and Game Boy stuff was a little rough. Like, I really don't enjoy the 8-bit era of games so much.
The Belmont's Revenge is good.
Like, I beat it, I played it, but I would never go back and play it again because I don't get much enjoyment out of it. I'd rather play more modern stuff, 16-bit onward. That's kind of my role. And then the 3D world, like the early 3D stuff it's really rough on everything. Although some stuff was good, like a lot of the early Rare 3D games on like Rare Replay, that stuff was good. I was surprised, like Blast Core aged pretty good. What?
How the fuck are you saying N64 3D games have aged better than 8-bit games? That is like there are like,
gameplay wise.
Donkey Kong 64, motherfucker.
What?
You know what's funny? Donkey Kong 64. Go play it. Play it right now.
Why?
I never played that game as a kid.
Yeah.
I tried to play it as an adult. I played it for an hour and I was like, I can never touch this ever again.
Oh yeah, was that like the camera's bad or the controls?
Everything.
Just go play it.
Everything.
Just
Like,
try to find, like, after the first mission, like after the first little objective, okay? Just try to figure out where you're supposed to go.
Okay. I played that when I was a kid. I only remember throwing my controller at the end when you have to beat the classic arcade mode twice to progress. And I was so upset because I'm like, I didn't buy Donkey Kong 64 to go play a classic arcade game. And I was so mad because I couldn't beat it. I eventually did, but so it really hasn't aged well, eh?
No. I mean, even you got to remember, dude, those 3D games you're playing have been like upscaled and shit like that. Play Banjo-Kazooie on an N64. Play Jet Force Gemini on an N64.
Okay, that game was rough. Jet Force Gemini, I did not like that on Rare Replay.
And that's a great version of it.
Is it? Those controls were pretty awful.
64, man, it's ridiculous because the aiming and everything like that is so messed up. They did a patch and updated the controls for Rare Replay because at first they had it the way that it was set up in the 64, and then people were like, "What? Why did you not update the controls? Like, the game is good, but the controls, man." Like, then they put out a patch, and they fixed those, so you could change your controls up.
Doom aged well though. I'm right up there with you, Rex. Playing the old Dooms last week. Picked up Doom 1, which is I've never played Doom 1. I've never played Doom 1 or 3. I played Doom 2 as a kid on PC. And
Doom is
freaking fun. Holy shit, I forgot how fun it was. This is coming from someone who does, like, I usually don't like the first person shooter genre, but Doom is a whole other beast.
Yeah. Now, have you already started 3 up yet?
Doom 3? Yeah. No, I know that one's more like horror atmospheric focus, isn't it?
That's the most divisive people get when it comes to Doom, for sure.
And it's weird because I think it's fucking phenomenal. Like, it's a survival horror first-person shooter that still feels a bit like Doom, but maybe feels a bit like Dead Space, what Dead Space ended up becoming. It's just very, corridors are pretty tight. There's jump scares in it and shit. And it looks absolutely beautiful still. Like, game looks just fucking fantastic.
Arfin asks, is Super Mario 64 trash too?
No, God, no. That's my favorite Super Mario game. But it's aged well. You could pick up an N64 and play that game. And the thing with Donkey Kong 64 is it required the expansion pack. So right then and there, you should know they're trying to push that system. they're trying to push it as hard as humanly possible. And because of that, I feel like the game sort of lagged behind. You know, they tried to make it maybe too big. They tried to do too much with it, and that's why it hasn't aged very well. But no, Super Mario 64, I mean, you can still pick up that game and play that game. Yeah, the camera's a little bit wonky, but I mean, there's a reason why it's a game that so many people love.
Arfin, I was actually curious. That's why I asked it.
Well, no, I mean, because in my ranking Super Mario video from today, I said Super Mario 64 is my favorite out of all the Mario games, and it is because I mean, you also have to factor in what that game did. That game created 3D platformers. That game essentially made the N64 become more successful than the Saturn in the United States, even though it had a fraction of the games that the Saturn has. You know, it reinvented Mario. It reinvented what Mario games were about. And so for that, I mean, you have to give it props.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see a take of a retro game from someone who tries it for the first time, like today, compared to someone who's experienced it with the time it came out of. Like, you know, just talking about Knights, for example, my experience very different than your experience. I wonder what someone playing Mario 64 for the first time would be like today. Like, everything is different, right? Because you're right. I remember Mario 64 very vividly, simply because, you know, I was big into Mario 3 and I couldn't have an N64, so I was always renting it and playing it at friends' houses. And like, that thing was legendary. You know, you were always uncovering new things, like, oh, you can go through this wall. Oh, there's a bunny here. Oh, there's a hidden switch here. Like, there was just so much to explore in that game.
Yep. It was truly the first of its kind.
Yeah. All right, so that's what we've been playing this last week. Let's talk about some of these topics. Rax, I don't know if Rex clocked out for a moment there. But last week,
tired of your shit.
But you were the one who was talking last. So, new loot box legislation. The ESA has come together to pretty much agree to implement your odds of getting a certain item in a loot box. Do you think it's a step in the right direction? Do you think it matters, or is it just a big yawn?
Yeah, I don't care. The whole loot box thing to me, like, I get why people are upset about it, but I just don't buy the loot boxes.
Yeah.
Like, there's no appeal to me to it. It's mostly cosmetic stuff. It only angers me if it's something that is actually required for it. Would I prefer you be able to unlock things like you could do in the Game of the Year Friday the 13th, where everything is level locked and you get all the DLC for free and you can unlock everything just by playing the game and by leveling up your character? Of course. That should be the gold standard, but unfortunately it's not.
Right. Rex, don't know if you heard, but we're just talking about the new loot box legislation where Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo came together to agree to show your odds of winning a certain object in a loot box, which is apparently something that's not even in place, because I don't pay too much attention to loot boxes. I don't know if you do. I feel like we're kind of not a heavy loot box base here, but who knows?
I never really been big into loot boxes. Even, well, one, I don't like playing with money, first off. So if I don't know for a fact that I'm getting what I am paying for, I most likely won't even take a chance. The only DLC that I will buy is if I know that it is expanding upon the story, giving me more maps in a multiplayer, or, you know, if it's extremely, extremely cool, I may splurge and get a skin on something. But it really is very rare that I will do that. It has to be like something that really, really strikes home with me. When it comes to loot boxes, I think the experience that I've had, I think we've back when my girlfriend was living here, we paid like $20 and did like some Overwatch loot boxes because they had like a really awesome like Halloween skin. We didn't even get one single skin out of $20 worth of boxes, and I think it gave you a lot of boxes too. I think there was at least like it was between like 10 or more boxes. So after that happened, I was like, dude, never again. And that was probably like 2 years ago. So
I had a similar experience with Hearthstone during the worst expansion, which was the Grand Tournament. I think it's agreed upon that that was the worst one. I dropped like $70 for a 50-pack pre-order, and it was so unrewarding opening those packs. And you're just like, what am I doing with my life? I just lost so much money.
I've never bought a loot box.
That said, though, have either of you ever been into card collecting where you buy like a booster pack?
Nope.
Sorry, Rex, you said yeah or no?
I said yes.
So, that's what it often gets compared to. And I grew up with that. Like, I loved buying booster packs as a kid, and even to this day, I enjoy it. But it just doesn't feel the same in a video game. I don't know if you agree with that. Like, do you consider them similar or completely different beasts?
I mean, back when I was opening booster packs of Pokemon in the 6th grade, it was a much different experience then. But I think that the difference that I would mainly feel about that now is that, with a loot box in a video game, if it's something that I don't really care for, like say, for example, say I open up a pack of Pokemon cards right now,
right?
And I get cards that I don't really care for, at least it's still adding to the set of cards that I'd otherwise normally be collecting anyway. So I'm still tangibly holding something in my hand, as where otherwise, not only do I not care about this digital item, once I don't care about this digital item, it's literally non-existent in my mind. Because even when it comes to digital games, I can't stand digital games. So when I go through my library on my PS4, some games I'll be like, oh crap, I actually do have that game, because I'll download something for free if it's digital, if it's something that's cool or whatever. But I will genuinely forget that I have that if I don't see the case within, eye shot of me sitting in my game room. You know what I mean? So when I'm looking at digital stuff, yeah, it's cool and convenient and everything like that. But when it comes to it actually being if it comes to actually me caring about it, it doesn't really exist to me. I don't know if that's the same way with you guys, but that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a very good point. That in the sense with the booster packs, it adds to your collection, and that's part of the fun. If you're not just in it for the game only, and a lot of people were in it for the collecting aspect and the game. For me, I'm actually a fan of digital. Conversation for another time, or a debate for another time with RGT. And I'm the same way as you, though. Sometimes I'll forget. Like, I have so many platforms, and anytime I can get like a good deal or a free game, I'll just grab it. So oftentimes later on, I forget I even have something. But I tend to look through my digital libraries more often than my physical ones. That said, I really think loot boxes are, like, I don't know. I feel that they're coming out in the news more, and it seems like they're being diluted so much from the proper term of what a loot box is. It just seems like it's just heading right back, like coming full circle into a digital store where you can just buy what you want. Kind of like that's what I don't know. I've never seen a loot. I've heard they used to have loot boxes in Fortnite, but my experience with the Fortnite store is you pretty much have a store with rotating items every day. Yeah. And the rest is the battle pass that you can see exactly what you're buying and you play to unlock. And to me, that's a model that I'm okay with.
The thing that bothers me about Fortnite, though, is that if you get the battle pass, you're playing to unlock them. But if you don't finish your season, like say for example, if I buy the battle pass,
yeah,
and say for example something comes up and I'm not able to play, that battle pass is just it's gone by the next season. Granted, they do give you a good amount of time to get those skins and all that other stuff unlocked, but I think it's kind of grimy to charge someone to play to unlock your items. That's the one thing that bothers me about Fortnite. I don't mind so much the skin stuff. Like if someone wants to buy a skin, like I know that like I said before, if I know that I am definitely for a fact getting that item, I will be more inclined to pay the money for that item. But if you sit here and say, hey, if you pay this $20, we'll give you a month to unlock these items. I don't know. That's just something about that doesn't sit right with me.
I mean, it plays to like the addictive nature of the game, which, to be fair, yeah, that is a little.
Yeah, but I feel like that's kind of encouraging people to do things that, like, say for example, put their priorities on hold to, but if I paid this $20, I have to grind and get this skin, like, or else I won't get it. So it's really kind of, not to sound like an old fart, but like, it's kind of ruining people's mentality when it comes to putting their priorities forward, and not wanting to do what they need to do on a daily basis when they should be. Instead, they're playing Fortnite, trying to grind and get this stupid pickaxe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, that's a really good, that's a very good point of view. I think I agree with you. The fact that there's a time limit, it just sucks. It's another thing if it's an event that's announced ahead of time. It's like, hey, this weekend there's an event. If you're there, you can get this like cool exclusive stuff. But another thing to spend money and then forcing you to prioritize on your life. Yeah.
Yeah, but typically those events are free. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's like kind of a good case scenario where, the events is one way to do it versus the pay and unlock in a limited time is just too many constraints.
Exactly.
All right, before we get to the lightning round, I really did want to talk about the, I kind of wanted both of these things. Let's talk about the Gamescom Jeff Keighley pre-show. Have you guys heard about it?
Fuck Keighley.
I know you look.
Only thing that matters is Sega is announcing a new AAA game, supposedly, and I think it's Knights.
No way. You think it's Knights?
They just did a new patent for a new Knights game.
Really?
Knights Dream Wheel.
What was the last Knights game?
The one on the Wii.
That was built like from the ground up for the Wii?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, that's not a strong yes.
I mean, yeah, it was. It had problems. It had motion controls, but you could do classic controls. Classic controls made it much better. They gave all the characters voices, and the voices were kind of shitty, and you couldn't like skip them. And there was too much walking around as the kids, and that was kind of shitty as well. The story tried to be kind of deep and shit. I don't know. But I mean, the actual game itself, like once you started playing the gameplay, it felt just like Knights, and I really liked it, but it did have some problems.
Okay. So just to show everyone, this is the announcement by Jeff. So Gamescom's happening August 20th. That's like a week from now. And on the Monday night, he's going to be streaming a premiere event or something, a kickoff night. Opening night live is what he's calling it, where he's saying 15 games are going to be announced by the following companies. I'm just showing the screen here. So we're going to get announcements from 2K, Activision, Bandai Namco Entertainment, Bungie, Capcom, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Google Stadia, Deep Silver, Private Division, Sega, Square Enix, Sony Interactive Entertainment, THQ Nordic, Ubisoft, Xbox Game Studios, and more. So I think the only thing I know about here is I'm pretty sure Capcom is going to unveil a new Resident Evil. That's my guess.
Yeah, I've been hearing that too. Some people, I know Dreamcast guy says he thinks it's going to be a Resident Evil Outbreak remake, which actually might not be a bad idea, because Outbreak, I think in theory was an interesting game, but in practice, I mean, it was a PS2 online only game. Like, how far could you go with it?
Right. Yeah, so that's coming because Capcom has been sending out 2 ambassadors invites to try a new mystery Resident Evil game at the end of September. So, I mean, it's all but confirmed that that's what they're going to be showing there. Do you guys have any ideas what these other games could be showcasing, what these other companies could be showcasing?
I mean, considering Jeff Keighley is the one hyping it, I wouldn't put too much stock into it, as sometimes the announcements are literally like, Marlboro is making a new video game.
Well, like, I think
premiere. Like, that's the fucking announcement. Like, fuck off.